The new oil is ideas. It's all digital. All the new fortunes are being created in idea space. In fact, if you're starting out today as a young, ambitious person, you don't learn real estate. You don't learn coal and oil mining. You don't go into extraction of physical resources to create wealth. You go into idea space. You go into programming, books, movies, blogs, and podcasts, and building robots, which are mostly intellectual property underneath.
I would focus on the content creator side of things because I believe that's where the puck is going. That's a much more important shift in how we all consume information and content and are entertained. I really tend to believe, as you've probably gotten a sense of sort of patterns and probabilities. And if you said to me, Chamath, probabilistically answer where are we going in apps and social experiences, what I would say is, Lex, we spent the first decade building platforms and getting them to scale. And if you want to think about it, again, back to sort of this poker analogy, others' mistakes minus your mistakes is the value. Well, the value that was captured was trillions of dollars, essentially to Apple and to Google. And they did that by basically attracting billions of monthly active users to their platform. Then this next wave were the apps. Facebook, QQ, Tencent, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, that whole panoply of apps. And interestingly, they were in many ways an atomized version of the platforms, right? They sat on top of them. They were an ecosystem participant, but the value they created was the same. Trillions of dollars of enterprise value, billions of monthly active users. Mm-hmm. Well, there's an interesting phenomenon that's kind of hiding in plain sight, which is that the next most obvious atomic unit are content creators. Now, let me give you two examples. Lex Friedman, this random crazy guy, MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson, just the two of you alone, add it up, okay? And you guys are going to approach in the next 5 years 1 billion people. The only thing that you guys haven't figured out yet is how to capture trillions of dollars of value. Now, maybe you don't want to, and maybe that's not your stated mission.
Yeah, right. But let's just look at MrBeast alone because he is trying to do exactly that, probably.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy is going to build an enormous business. But if you take Jimmy and all of the other content creators, right, you guys are atomizing what the apps have done. You're providing your own curated news feeds. You're providing your own curated communities. You let people move in and out of these things in a very lightweight way, and value is accruing to you. So the honest answer to your question is I would focus on the content creator side of things because I believe that's where the puck is going. That's a much more important shift in how we all consume information and content and are entertained. It's through brands like you, individual people that we can humanize and understand are the filter.
Like we get into this model of I must work for other people, work my way up the ladder. I must do what that person is doing to make money. But really today in society, you get rewarded for creative work, for creating something brand new that society didn't even know yet that it wanted, that doesn't know how to get other than through you. So the most powerful money makers are actually individual brands, people like yourself, or Elon, or Kanye, or Oprah, or Trump, right? These are individual brands, eponymous name brands who themselves are leveraged. Like you're leveraged. You have podcast media going out to everybody. That's leverage. The podcasts work for you when you sleep. They have knowledge that nobody else has, which is your knowledge is the knowledge of being Joe Rogan. I mean, who else is a UFC fighter and a commentator and a podcaster and a comedian and, interested in all these things and knows all these people? Can't replace you. So we have to pay you what you're worth. And
I never fought in the UFC though.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, sorry. Or you're whatever. You're involved in that whole scene. You just have a unique set of skill sets. So because of this unique, what I call specific knowledge, because of the accountability that you have with your name, because of the leverage that you have through your media, you're a money-making machine. I'm sure at this point I could make you start over tomorrow, wipe out your bank account, you'd be rich again in no time because you have all the skill sets. So once people have those skill sets, and the beauty is the way you've done it is you don't have any competition. There's no substitution. If Joe Rogan were to disappear off the air tomorrow, it's not like random podcaster number 12 would step in and fill that thing. No, it's just gone. So the way to get out of that competition trap is actually to be authentic. The way to retire is actually to find the thing that you know how to do better than anybody, And you know how to do that better than anybody because you love to do it. No one can compete with you if you love to do it. Be authentic, and then figure out how to map that to what society actually wants. Apply some leverage, put your name on it so you take the risks, but you gain the rewards. Have ownership and equity in what you do, and then just crank it out. The new oil is ideas. It's all digital. All the new fortunes are being created in idea space. In fact, if you're starting out today as a young, ambitious person, you don't learn real estate. You don't learn coal and oil mining. You don't go into extraction of physical resources to create wealth. You go into idea space. You go into programming, books, movies, blogs, and podcasts, and building robots, which are mostly intellectual property underneath. So even as a human civilization, we're moving away from conquest of physical resources and moving much more into trading of ideas.
I think 4 or 5 years from now, there's going to be a lot of articles about creators who are, there will be billionaire creators,
right?
A handful of them,
Yeah.
You'll just start seeing it more and more and more. The direct to consumer with your influence, especially with the data darkness thing that's going on with you can't track.
Right. Yeah.
It used to be really easy
It's
to
not easy to find audience
It's
online
not as easy to find an audience
audience
if you don't have it.
Can you explain that? The data darkness?
Basically, you could track people. Facebook collected everything. So if you if you had a widget and you wanted to find people who would want to buy that widget, it was pretty easy because they give you all the data and they say, I love widgets and here's my birthday. And here are the other things I like. It was really easy to find those audience. Now with the data darkness where you can't be tracked and stuff and cookie policy, it's harder to find those people. And so I was always like, I cannot believe brands pay me as much as they do to do these integrations, before I had my own business. And now that I have my own business, I'm like, those SOBs were ripping me off.
Oh, interesting.
You know what I mean? It's like when you have your own audience and your own company you can pitch, then it's like, I was making them more money than they were paying me. And they, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have the thing where they're like, well, it didn't perform as well as we wanted. It's like, no, dude, I know that's not true now,
This is the kind of entrepreneurship or product market fit flipped on its head, where, previously someone would create Crunch Labs. They would say, okay, I have these, I want to teach kids how to engineer. Now I need to go find an audience for them. But now it's the inverse, where it's, hey, I have this massive audience interested in building and engineering. Let me build a company around that premise, which is I think why we're heading towards billionaire creators.
Agreed.
What's the best thing to start doing on YouTube? Whatever you love, whatever gets you excited, gets you out of the bed in the morning. That's the type of videos you should be making. What are you genuinely curious and passionate about? I mean, people on YouTube get views for the strangest things. You know what I mean? I bet you if there's someone who's making a living painting bowling balls. I don't know, but there's this one board game I love playing, and I was watching a tutorial and watching some videos on it. It's just not even that popular of a board game, and the guy making the videos was a school teacher, and in one of the videos he mentioned how his channel on just this simple board game was doing so well that he was able to quit his job as a teacher and he went full time making videos about this board game. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where if he was being over analytical, people would be like, don't make videos on a board game. Who cares about that board game? But it's what he loved and it's what he was passionate about. And so that pushed him to grind and put in the effort, and he found an audience. And so my answer is make videos on whatever you love and you'll make it a lot further. It's the same thing don't people say don't do YouTube for money, and the thing is, it's not wanting money isn't going to cause you to fail, but if that's your focus, it's I'll set aside money related videos like Graham, Stephen and all them, but it's just, if that's your focus, you're not going to put in as many hours and you're not going to obsess as much than if it was something that you genuinely did as a hobby and loved creating.
Reflections. Another perspective that I have found very useful is from Alex Hormozi. He argues that, just like in the past, fortunes were made on oil, today's fortunes are made on attention, since anyone can build an audience thanks to the infinite leverage of the internet. And you build an audience by being authentic to yourself, by doing what you love and pursuing your genuine curiosity. And that will naturally bring you authentic ideas, which then you can package in a digital format to then be consumed by anyone on the internet who enjoys your ideas and your work. In my opinion, this is why Naval Ravikant and Alex Hormozi have said that ideas and attention are the new oil. Because once you have an audience and the attention, it is relatively easy to monetize through ads revenue, brand deals, and affiliate marketing. Or even create your own business, which could solve the most common need of your audience and you wouldn't have to spend a penny on marketing.